What's going on, everyone? So the NBA in-season tournament is down to the Final Four in Las Vegas. We got the 2 games today, which are going to be a ton of fun. I cannot wait. I really have been impressed with just the level of basketball, level of play we have seen thus far in the in-season tournament. I was a little weary of it. I was open and willing to give it a chance, and I've been pleasantly surprised. I really do enjoy it. But diving into it, let's get into it. So first game that is slated is the Indiana Pacers and the Milwaukee Bucks. Indiana has been a very surprising team. They are historically good offensively. Defensively, they are historically bad. They're a tale of just one dimension. They are a team that is just, their sole purpose is to just outpace you, outrun you, and outscore you, right? If they can put up 125 a game, they're probably going to beat you unless you can put up 130 against them. The Milwaukee Bucks are a team that, look, they very well could be in the NBA championship this year. They very well could win the NBA championship. They got the surprise of the offseason in acquiring Damian Lillard to pair with Giannis, who already won an NBA championship. And I think this is going to be a fun and entertaining game. I think this is going to be a high-scoring affair, but ultimately, I just think Milwaukee, push comes to shove, I think they'll be able to get the job done. Indiana doesn't really have an answer for Giannis at all whatsoever, but, I mean, Indiana, again, they can spread you out. They can score with the best of them. I don't think that they're going to be able to contain Halliburton very much, if at all. I think that this is going to be a high pace, fast, and look, if Indiana can knock down some shots and really run up the score, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if they beat Milwaukee, right? Because the beauty of the in-season tournament is they're trying to bring that level of like a March Madness, right? To where, yes, in a 7-game series, Milwaukee probably wins it in 5 games, maybe 6 tops. Nobody would be surprised if they swept Indiana, but a gentleman sweep makes sense, especially with how high offensive powered Indiana is. You got to imagine that they're going to win 1 game at least. And so with the in-season tournament, it is just 1 game, right? So if that 1 game that Indiana might win in a playoff series if they were to face each other, if it's that game that we play today, then guess what? Milwaukee goes home and Indiana advances to the championship. Where if this was a 7-game series, it's like, okay, well, look, congrats, Indy. You got the win. Now we're about to beat you 4 straight, right? Like, it's the difference. And that's the surprise factor, right? Of the, like, hey, like, anything can happen. I mean, look at what Indiana was able to do to the Boston Celtics. If that was a 7-game series, Boston probably wins that, 5 games, 6 games tops. Also, they didn't have Kristaps Porzingis. I understand that. But still, like, even without that, even without Kristaps Porzingis, I don't necessarily think Indiana beats the Boston Celtics in a 7-game series. I don't. Could be. Never know. I could very well be wrong. But I think even without Porzingis, I think that Boston would get the job done. But as we saw, it's just 1 game. A team gets that momentum. Team gets that hype. All of a sudden, they go on a run, and you're looking back and it's like, oh, wow, we just lost. So that very same thing could happen to the Milwaukee Bucks. They got to lock down. They got to stay focused. Obviously, to have Giannis and Damian Lillard in the championship of the first ever in-season tournament, I think would be great for the NBA, obviously. More so than Indiana. Tyrese Halliburton is absolutely taking the league by storm, don't get me wrong, and he's one of my favorite players. Like, he's just so much fun to watch. But I mean, if you could script, right? And look, I'm not one of those people that think like the NBA scripted or anything like that. I know a lot of people do. I don't. I just think that any sport, it has enough just variables that chaos happens naturally, right? But if you had to pick out of the remaining 4 teams, the teams to represent the NBA in-season tournament championship, it would be the Milwaukee Bucks and the Lakers. right? Have Giannis against LeBron, AD versus Dame, all that stuff. Like, that's what you'd want, right? That would be the big, the showdown. That would be the big money game. That would be the big draw. So, look, I imagine that the NBA is hoping, at least, they probably never would admit it, but I'm sure that they're hoping Milwaukee handles Indiana and gets the job done. Because the last thing you want is like that random team that, I mean, let's face it, I like Indiana, but they're not winning an NBA championship anytime soon, right? Do you really want that type of variance? Probably not, right? If you could hook Adam Silver up to a lie detector test, he'd probably tell you he wants to see the Bucks and the Lakers, who the Lakers are that second team. They are that second game. Obviously, LeBron James, he really seems to want this cup, which makes sense, right? I mean, he's chasing greatness. And especially at his age, if he could win the first ever cup, that's just another thing to add to the pile of accolades. Obviously, this is the first one ever, so you can't really compare this to like other players of the past, but still going forward, right? At some point, this in-season tournament is going to be a huge deal, is going to be a big thing. I mean, it already kind of is trending that way, but as we progress, I'm sure that'll be a list of accolades, right? Like, oh, Luka has 2 NBA championships, but he also has 4 in-season tournament cups, right? Like, that'll be stuff that happens as we continue developing and growing this new tournament style. So LeBron being able to win the first one ever would just be ridiculous for him, right? And just cement him even further. The Pelicans and the Lakers should be a fun game. Personally, I think it's the Lakers, and I know some people are going to listen to this video and go, well, of course you do. You're a Laker fan. But no, I mean, look, I said even before going to this game, whoever won between the Suns and the Lakers, I thought was going to represent the West in this tournament, right? I thought that they would be the one that advanced. So if it was the Phoenix Suns, I would say the Phoenix Suns over the Pelicans, right? I just think the Pelicans are a good team. I just think that the Lakers and the Suns are the better 2 teams. I think the Lakers are the better team against the Pelicans. I think they match up great. If it was Sacramento, I would have been a little concerned, right? Because Sacramento, I just think, is a tougher matchup. Plus Sabonis and Anthony Davis, for whatever reason, has been a tough matchup for Anthony Davis. I think De'Aaron Fox is going to be a little hard to contain, where I think just against the Pelicans, the Lakers will be able to match up better. And I think they have a little bit more mismatches. They'll be able defensively to hold their own. And I think that they have enough offensive firepower to keep up with New Orleans and then just close down the stretch and win the game, right? But as I mentioned with the Pacers taking on the Milwaukee Bucks, it's only one game, right? 7-game series. Maybe the Lakers win in 5, right? Maybe the Lakers sweep. Maybe they win in 6, whatever, right? But I would bet pretty good money that if this was a 7-game series, that the Lakers win that series. But luckily for New Orleans, it's not a 7-game series. You don't have to be the better team. You only have to be the better team once. It's just like I mentioned, NCAA tournament or like the NFL playoffs, right? Where, sometimes you see the best team doesn't always win. And so there is that variable, there is that variance there could be a surprise today. Like I mentioned, I think the NBA really is hoping that it's a Lakers Bucks championship. So that way, you got the big draw, you got the big box office, right? I would imagine that they don't want to see the Pelicans and the Pacers facing off in this. But I think all these teams are definitely going to be trying to win. I also just think, personally it means more to the Lakers too. I think that they really need this. And I just think that they're going to come out guns blazing. I mean, we've seen the Lakers elevate their level of play in this in-season tournament far more than they have in the regular season, right? I know the games still count regardless for the regular season, but the Lakers just seem to have turned it up a notch when they get into the in-season tournament. So I just think ultimately, push comes to shove, I think the Lakers will get it done. I think that this will be has the potential to be a real back and forth game throughout the course. But I think come fourth quarter, Lakers will do what they've done all season, which is be the best fourth quarter team in the league, lock down, focus, pick it up defensively, and then be able to close that out. And guys hitting shots. I think that, the Pelicans are going to have their struggles. I think the Lakers have enough size, length, and just bodies to throw at a Zion and a Brandon Ingram, right? I think Rui, just with his size, physicality, and just lower center of gravity, will be able to be a body to throw on Zion. Obviously, LeBron James and Anthony Davis can kind of pack the paint. And my guess is that they kind of live with Valanciunas, just doing whatever they do. But I want good competitive games regardless. But ultimately, I think it'll be the Milwaukee Bucks and the Lakers face off for the cup, winner take all, one game, and I'm excited for it. But again, you never know. That's the thing with this, one game, one and done. Anything could happen. Anything could happen. Team could get hot, right? As I mentioned, the Pacers could be a game where they just shoot the lights out. They're more than capable of doing that. And the Bucks just have a bad game, right? Same thing with the Lakers. Lakers could just have a bad game. And the New Orleans Pelicans shoot the lights out, right? It's very possible. Again, you don't have to be the better team. You just have to be the better team once, right? For one night. And we've seen the worst teams in the league beat the best teams. It happens every year. So will be fun. Will be interesting. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you think that this plays out? Who are you going with today? All those things I'd love to hear, so let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. It helps me out a lot. Helps me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate you all. See you in the next one.